Coleus, often thought of as a shade-loving annual, but with the right cultivar selection, it can also be grown in full sun. In this video, we'll talk about how to plant, how to fertilize, how to prune, cultivar selection, companion plants for Coleus, and so much more. Hi, I'm Dr. Tom Warren, and you're watching The Plant Doctor. Let's get started. In general, we can group Coleus into two different groups. There's those that can grow in sun, and there's those that cannot. So sun lovers can take 8 or more hours of direct sunlight, and they will perform beautifully for you. Those that prefer the shade, if you put them in sun, you're not going to have the same success. Two sun-loving cultivars of Coleus that I like are Pineapple and Alabama. Pineapple has a beautiful golden foliage with almost burgundy type stems to it. Alabama is a mixture of colors, and what you're looking at here is actually a little faded. I'm filming this in September, and so it's been out in the sun all summer long, but it's going to have a really nice light red to golden color to it. And I've noticed that it flowers profusely as well. So it's going to have a purplish flower stalk on the top of it, and then the pollinators just love them as well. So if you're looking for an annual that also serves as a pollinator, so this whole area here is a pollinator garden full of perennials, and I splash annuals in it here and there, including these Coleus, and the bumblebees in particular seem to really like the Coleus. Shade-loving Coleus are going to be those that like 6 hours or less of direct sunlight every day, and that's what these get here. These are shade lovers, so the sun comes up over here off my right hand shoulder. It's going to move behind the house, and here in the evening the sun's off my left hand shoulder. So these get like maybe 3 hours of sunlight in the morning, and you can see how beautiful that they're doing here. 3 of my favorite cultivars to use in shade areas are going to be these 3 right here. So the first one is going to be a smaller cultivar. So I have these terraced off to small, medium, and high. So the smallest in the front and the tallest are in the back, and we let them fill in. And this is going to be All That Jazz. So All That Jazz has hints of red and lime green in it. Really doesn't flower much in my experience. It's going to get 12 to 18 inches tall, and that's what I've used for the shorter Coleus here. My middle Coleus that I have is going to be Terrascape Queen. So Terrascape Queen is actually going to have a lavender flower, and then it's going to have a more of a lime green edge or margin, and then a dark burgundy colored center. And Terrascape Queen, it'll get 24 to maybe 30 inches tall. The next Coleus I have in here is going to be Premium Sun Sweet Paprika. And so this one is going to be all burgundy, and as the leaves begin to mature, you'll actually get some very light hues of a yellowish color. And this one has actually kind of outcompeted the other two. This one was supposed to be the middle height one according to the labels, but it got a little bit taller, which is okay. We're just looking for a mass of color here in a shady area, and that's what we have. That I accomplished this. It looks just like I wanted it to, and so I'm not going to complain too much that the labeling was off in terms of the height. Speaking of height and nutrition, let's talk about how we fertilize Coleus so that they look good all season long. Planting and fertilizing Coleus, regardless of if it's a sun Coleus like you see here or the 3 shade Coleus cultivars that we just looked at earlier, I'm doing the same process with planting and fertilizing. I get to my average last frost date, for which here is April the 11th. That doesn't mean it's always my last frost date, that's just the average. I'll get to April 11th, I'll look at the 10-day forecast, and if we're going into a warming trend, I'll go ahead and plant. If we have a cold front coming through, I'm going to hold off a little bit. But when I plant, I'm going to plant on about 18-inch centers, or 1.5 foot centers. So every 18 inches, I'm planting a Coleus, and then I'm going to put roughly 1 tablespoon of fertilizer on each plant. and the fertilizer that I prefer is an Osmocote slow release blend. This particular blend is a 6-month blend, so 180 days. So when I plant on April the 11th, that's going to get me through May, June, July, August, September, all the way into October. And November the 11th is my average first frost date. And at that point, these are going to be dying off anyway. So they may die off closer to Halloween. They may die off closer to Thanksgiving. On average, it's November the 11th. And so we don't need to feed them past that point anyway. So the perfect fertilizer for these is going to be roughly a 6-month prill. And now I'm in zone 8A. If you're further north, it may be a little bit shorter than that. You may have a 5-month prill that will suffice if you're in like zone 6 or zone 5 or zone 4. But you need something that's going to get you through the entire summer so that your Coleus can hold their color. If you're going to grow Coleus, I do not want to give you the false impression of the amount of time that you are potentially going to have to water. Now, if you have an automatic irrigation system, this is not a big deal for you. If you do not, you need to be prepared to water your Coleus several times a week. The hotter it gets, the more often you need to water. For me, starting around the first part of July through August, I have to water these every day. If not, they'll wilt very quickly. In the early part of the growing season, so in the spring, and then now that we're in fall, I'm in September here in zone 8A, I can get away with watering these about twice a week. If I really saturate the ground, I could water, say, on like a Monday and turn around and water again on Thursday, Friday. They're going to be fine. But during peak heat season, when it's the dog days of summer, you need to be prepared to water these almost daily. Once you plant your Coleus in the early spring, you may want to prune them just a little bit. Now, they do not need severe pruning or continuous pruning, but if you get a Coleus plant that's leggy, it's just growing straight up, it's one branch that's 12 or 18 inches tall, there's no side branching, go down 2 groups of leaves, so count from the top leaf. So these are opposite leafed, meaning that the leaves are directly across from each other. Count down 1 set of leaves, count down 2 sets of leaves, and make a cut there. What that's going to do is encourage your Coleus to branch, and they're going to get fuller, and you're going to have results that look like this. Companion plants of Coleus can be broken down into 2 groups, just like our Coleus can in and of itself. For our sun-loving Coleus, you'll want to select sun-loving plants as well. And my Coleus here is kind of the complementary plant to what we have going on here in the garden in general. This is a perennial pollinator garden, and I have different flowers coming up at different times of the seasons. We have lots of black-eyed Susans, we have lots of Shasta daisies, we have some zinnias as well, we have Russian sage, just all sorts of pollinator plants in here. We even have some lavender for the fragrance. And so these plants, their flowers come and go over 30, 60, if we're lucky, a 90-day period for each individual species. What the Coleus does for me in these situations is this. It provides season-long color. So I plant these in April, and they're going to have great color all the way till the first frost. We get the added benefit of some flowers here that the bees enjoy as well. So it's just continuous color as my perennials are coming in and out of season. I can always rely on the Coleus to provide some color. For our shade-loving Coleus, some good complementary plants for those are hostas, astilbes, Solomon seal, heucheras, ajuga, amongst others. If you have a tip, trick, or hack that you use to grow exceptional Coleus, please share that with us in the comments below. Here on the channel, I like to think of us as a community of learners, and I would love to learn something from you, the viewer. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor, and until next time, happy gardening.